Hey everyone, Michael Firth here, founding advisory board member and Crown with Neumi. Now it's my pleasure to be your presenter for the next 18 to 20 minutes as we do a deep dive into the revised compensation plan, which is recorded on June the 18th, 2026. Now I want to say in the outset that corporate have done an amazing job of putting together a fantastic set of slides on the compensation plan individual components. So this is not designed to take away from that. This has actually been requested by a lot of our diamonds to give a really deep understanding of how the compensation plan fits together step by step. So the individual components are awesome. On the other presentation, this is showing you how they flow together in the real world. So let's hop into it. So firstly, when we're talking about the things that make our compensation plan unique, firstly, we need you to know that we have a dollar for dollar one-to-one ratio. What does that mean? There's no reduction, no conversion rate, no hidden maths of PV/BV ratios that companies use. It's really easy to understand where $1 equals a point. In terms of the payout, we pay 53 cents in the dollar. That's one of the highest in the industries. Most companies are paying between 24 cents and 39 cents. And this is what we pay back of the actual dollar in our compensation plan, which is very high. And that does not even include what we pay in promotional bonuses and incentive trips, which again puts us a country mile ahead of everyone in the industry. Now, this slide here talks about all the different ranks and what volumes required. We're going to start with this slide, but then we're going to finish off with this slide as well for more details. So at first glance, you can see the volume that's required to be each rank. But let me come back to this at the end and make it make more sense by pulling it all together. Okay, so this is a deep dive and a practical example. So let's look at what it looks like in the real world. Firstly, you'll see on the screen here that we have two bottles of product, one NutraSwish, one Neumi Skin. They are the first two products that we launch every country with. Other products come in and expand the range as a country justifies at first with growth, and then will justify the advent of new products. Now you'll notice here on the screen it says 100 PV makes you active for commissions, and that is two products. Each product is $50 each. Two products would be 100 PV. That's all you need to be active all the way to presidential at the top of the compensation plan. For that, with 100 PV, you also receive no membership fees. We don't charge monthly subscriptions like some companies charging $10 a month to access their products at wholesale price. You get wholesale products without any membership fees for life for free. We also have free tools, apps and so forth that we give you, and we don't charge for those either. Now, as you go along, 100 PV is easily achieved as the range continues to expand around the world. For example, you may be in a country that doesn't have Neuro yet, or hers, or the hair product, and or the three new products we're about to roll out at our Barcelona 5th anniversary event. But you can see it's very easy to achieve 100 PV. Having said that, what if you didn't have 100 PV? How can you do that in another way? Well, firstly, your customer commissions can count for your own PV. Now, I would be a hypocrite if I tried to tell you that you can build this business and buy this product, but I've never bought it. That's a hypocrite, the definition. So obviously you need to buy some products at the start in order to have the credibility of being able to say how great the products are. But as you go on, as I said, two of any of the range equals 100 PV. So in the second month of business, let's say things are really tight for you financially. If you had a customer that bought one product, you bought a product, well, that's 50 PV, 50 PV. Your customer volume can form part of your active status. And if things got really tough, if you had a customer or two customers, just as long as there's two products going through 100 PV each month, even if you didn't have an order, the customer volume can roll up to help you become active. Now, I want to say, buyer beware. If at the end of the month you expected a customer to purchase and they didn't, even for me as a Crown, if I don't have 100 PV and a customer didn't purchase, I won't earn 1 cent because I must be active. So it's on me and it's on you if you choose to use customer volume to attain your 100 PV. Check it, make sure it's happening, because if someone returned a product at the end of the month and you weren't aware, you could slip out of active status. So it's safer to just use your own PV, but there is the backup plan that your customer volume can form part of or all of your 100 PV active status. Now, moving on from there, there are 8 ways you can profit with our compensation plan. There are weekly and monthly. We like to refer to them as buckets because it'll make it very easy for us to explain how the weekly commissions trickle into the monthly commissions and how that works in the real world. So on the weekly commissions, there is three separate commissions: retail sales, preferred customers, and welcome pack purchases for members. So let's just isolate them one by one. The first one is retail sales. Now, in a market that's fully operational, you could buy a bottle of product and then sell that bottle of product to a non-member in the street. You can't do that in Australia because we're NFR, not for retail. A lot of markets around the world are NFR, and that means you cannot retail to a non-member, but it's irrelevant. And as a Crown, I've not sold one bottle of product to a non-member ever, yet I'm achieving one of the highest ranks in the company, so it's irrelevant. But the next two are relevant for everybody, and that would be the preferred customer bonus and the welcome pack purchases for members. So how does that work? Well, as you go out there and you expand your business and anyone joins you, let's say hypothetically that Mary joins you as a customer and she buys 2 bottles of product. You'll receive 100, she'll pay 100 US and you'll get 25% of that, which is $25. Now, if Mary then buys off you next month and the month after, and then 5 years from now, you're still going to get 25% every time she purchases because customer volume stays in the weekly commissions permanently for life. Now, let's say on the other hand, you introduced Fred and Fred becomes a member and purchases some products to build the business. Well, you'll also get 25% on anything that he does as well. But then you can also earn another 6 generations beyond just him from anyone that person knows. Because obviously a customer doesn't recommend anybody. A member can build a business and you can earn 6 more generations at 3%. Now, just note that you can earn the first 3 levels immediately. And in order to unlock level 4, 5, 6, and 7, you must then rank advance, which we'll cover off in a minute. Now, it's important to point out that member volume, in red there, you can see on the screen, member volume stays in the weekly commission for the first 30 days of a member's life, known as the enrollment period. Then after that, like that water is trickling from one bucket into the other, then future member purchases after the first 30 days of that new member's membership will then get paid in the monthly commissions instead. So you'll get 25% upfront for anyone you personally sponsor as a member. After the first 30 days, instead of getting 25% on what they're purchasing, now you're going to get 5 different commissions in the monthly commissions instead. Okay, so first one is a roadmap. It's called the Power of 3. And quite frankly, the Power of 3 drives every single part of our compensation plan. So we recommend going out and finding at least 3 people to start with. And when you find 3 members that purchase 100 PV, which is $100, 2 products, when you have 3 in place that are doing that, you introduce and maintain them from the second month of business onwards. And why do I say second month? Because remember, the volume is paid in the weekly commissions in the first month until it trickles into the second month. And now you're going to get paid the Power of 3 as one of the bonuses, one of the 5 from that. So you can introduce 3 people, get an extra $50 US on top of your commissions. If you extend, as we'd encourage you to do, and keep introducing people and introduce 6 people and maintain them at 100 PV, 6 members will give you 100 US dollars. If you push past that and achieve 9 or more, even if it's 9 million, it's still 9 or more, you can earn 250 US dollars instead of the 100. So that's the goal for everyone, to go from 3 to 6 to 9 over time and earn $250 from the Power of 3 bonus. Then we just duplicate the Power of 3, 6, or 9, and off we go to build a business. Now, you notice on the right-hand side, instead of splashes of water, like the first bucket, we have this rising tide. Why is that? Well, customer volume is active commissions as you're recruiting, and new member volume in the weekly commissions is active commissions as you're recruiting. The monthly volume is based on member purchases. Now, members are stickier than a customer. Why? They're building the business for financial reasons as well as just product health benefits. So they tend to stick on auto ship longer or permanently in some cases. So that means that your monthly commissions will take longer to rise, but when they do, they're like a waterline. They're more solid, okay? Now, in case you're wondering, do we build 9 teams? No, we do not. Do we build 3 teams? No, we do not. We start with 3. You all want at least 6 teams. So as your personal team grows and you've introduced more than 6 people, maybe 9 or more, then remember to use the placement suite to place and position those people downline in any of the 6 teams. Okay. Now, in terms of positioning, we have what we call dynamic positioning, and I'll give you an example of real world. Here is me, and I introduced a friend of mine who introduced a friend of his when I started, and I had my 6 teams in place. And so when I had a 7th person, what did I do? I placed them into one of the existing teams. Now, that means, and in this example, this was a gentleman by the name of Larry. Larry introduced a friend of his, Karen. Karen became the fastest crown in the history of Neumi of 5.5 months. And then she went on to introduce a lot of other people and it became huge. So that was within one team. Now, dynamic placement doesn't take away any of your commissions in the weekly commissions. Let me show you what I mean. So even though Larry was over here, 3 levels down where I placed him, I'm still getting commissions from him as if he was first level front line in the weekly commissions. Okay. And then the others you can see, Karen, even though she's here, is still level 2 in the weekly commissions. All right. Then we have the monthly commissions. So why would you bother placing someone under someone else? Because you can concentrate your efforts. Building any more than 6 teams gets difficult. Building 3 is not profitable, so you want to be 6 teams wide. So when you do place someone down the line, like this example, all you're eliminating is you're taking away some of your earnings in the uni level, but you're creating a fire under somebody else, as you can see that happen right there. Okay, so that's dynamic placement. Right now, let's look at a couple of hypotheticals as you kick off using the power of 3. What's the first thing you heard about, or if you haven't watched it, called the 5 ways to profit? Well, quite frankly, you want to get your return on your investment. If you've paid $100 for 2 bottles of product plus some shipping, let's get your money back. So how do you do that? Get the word out there, look for at least 3 members, maybe a couple of customers. And in this example, 25% commission, you got more than you spent. Boom, you're in profit. That's the first goal for everyone. Now, I want to point out this example is 600 points. Why? 100 here, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. That's 600. And that's based on 100 PV. Did you know the average across the world isn't 100? The average consumer per person is 200, because some people don't just buy product for themselves, they buy product to build their business and grow their business with, and hence some are buying $500-$600 worth of product to get the word out and redistribute. So conservatively, 100 is easy to achieve. Now, but don't stop there, because if you duplicate 3 by 3 by 3, your business will be nowhere as big as if you duplicated it by this an example, 3 more, going 6 by 6 by 6. So for example, here we have now 6 frontline members, 4 customers, $25 each one. Now you've got $250. You could do this in the 2nd week of your business before the 1st month even expires if you just literally go for it. And a lot of people have done that. Now, in this example is 1100 PV, but it's based on 100. Again, 100 is not the average. The average is 200. So it's very conservative. Okay. But I'm showing you that example so you can see that if you duplicate 6 or 9, you're going to go faster than just 3 by 3. That's why we don't encourage people just to build 3 wide, because it's not as profitable. Now, rank advancement, the very first rank you're looking to hit from power of 3 is 1 star. Now, how does that work? Really simple. This compensation plan is so simple. First step, power of 3 or more, 6, 9, introduce people, then duplicate that, 3 plus, then 3 plus, and then eventually you'll have a total of about 50 people in your business, 100 PV per head, that's 5,000 turnover. That is a 1 star. So let's hop back in and talk about what happens when you hit 1 star the first time. We now have a rank advancement bonus. The very first time you hit it, in addition to all the other bonuses, we'll give you an extra $500 the first time you hit 1 star. Once you hit 2 star, which I'll show you the details of that in just a minute, then you will actually earn $1,000 once you've hit it once and twice, any time within a 6-month period. In other words, it doesn't need to be consecutive. As long as you hit that within 6 months 2 times, you'll get $1,000 in your pocket. When you hit 3 star, again the same 2 times, you'll have 2,000. Diamond, 5,000. And these are all cumulative, meaning that they pull together, all of them together. So you can earn all of them in one go if you rank advance really quickly through them. Now, the uni level is where the income on the back end comes from. So you instantly, when you start building a business, qualify for 3 levels deep at 7% per generation. And then, just like the weekly commissions, when you rank advance to a higher rank, we'll then unlock level 4 at senior member, level 5 at 1 star, level 6 at 2 star, and level 7 at 3 star. And then nothing changes through our diamond ranks until you hit crown, where we give you an extra 1% at the end. Now, the next bonus is the infinity bonus, which works from level 8 onwards. So if you are a diamond, you don't stop once you get to the 7th level. Now you're going to earn a 0.5% bonus from level 8 to infinity with a maximum payout of 2,500. Get to double diamond, we get it to 1% with 5,000 as a cap. 10,000 at triple diamond, 15,000 at crown, 30,000 at double crown, 50,000 at triple crown, and president capped at 100,000. Just the infinity bonus, not all the commissions. You can earn a lot more than $100,000 at presidential. That's just one of the bonuses with a cap. And of course, the extended earnings all work from those levels and beyond. Now, the final bonus is called the leadership bonus pool. And I love this one. You might be building a business, say, in Europe, and your business might not be in Asia at all, but let's say the Indonesian business goes berserk. This is a profit sharing pool that has nothing to do with your team's volume and everything to do with the global profit sharing of the entire organization. So once you hit diamond, you'll end up with a 1% global pool to share in of all the member purchases for the month globally. 1% for double diamond, 1% for triple diamond, 1% for crown. But they all culminate together as well, meaning if you actually achieve crown, you're earning a share of all of them. So, for example, there are 3 qualified crowns at the moment, and there is, oodles of diamonds. So you can imagine you've got if the same amount of 1% went into the diamond pool as the crown pool, the shares would be a lot bigger in the crown pool because it's just sharing amongst 3 individuals. Okay. So that brings me back to what the ranks look like at the start. So here we can see, in order to rank advance, as soon as your total team qualification volume from you and anyone downline exceeds 1,500, you are a senior member. The 50% rule comes into it, but I'll show you that in a minute. But that's how you become a senior member. So in other words, let's go back through what it meant. You introduce 3 or more, maybe 3, maybe 6, maybe 9. So that's 900 PV there. You help those people introduce 3, 6, or 9, and now you would hit 1,500 points pretty quickly. Help more people to do that. Once there's a total of 5,000 turnover in a month, then you're a 1-star and you can earn deeper levels of commission, as we said. 2-star, 10,000. There is no structural requirements until you hit 3-star. Then you must duplicate 2 1-star legs. And the cool thing is that those 1-star legs do not have to be frontline. They can be way, way, way down. You might have people not ranking and then 1-star at the bottom. That doesn't matter if it's 50 people deep. Anywhere in that leg, it still counts for your qualification, which is pretty exciting. Then you get to diamond, which is virtually a 6-figure income annually. And that's 3 1-star legs with 50,000 PV. Okay. And as you can see, everything in the compensation plan is based on that. So let's just go to crown, for example, right? So I can say this in real life. I'm a crown. And it says here that a crown is 6 1-star legs and 500,000 volume. And I love this example. So if you have a very well-structured business, it will be lopsided. What does that mean? Well, sometimes you would think if someone had three legs in a row, all exactly the same, that's a great structure. No, that's a bad structure because that means you haven't replicated yourself. Everything's coming back to you because it's perfectly balanced. A good business is one where people are independent of you. So by the time leg 6 hit 5,000 PV for a 1-star for me, leg 1 was $1 million a month. And you're saying, hang on a sec, you only need 500,000 for crown. Correct. So what we say to people is this is how simple the comp plan is. Number 1, start focusing on 3 or more and just recruit. Then teach 3 or more, and that will get you to 1-star. To be a crown, you need 6 1-star legs. By the time your 6th 1-star leg is over the line, I'll guarantee you leg 1 is enormous, leg 2 is a little bit bigger, leg 3 smaller, leg small, and right up to the last leg. That is how simple this compensation plan is. It's just about power of 3 leading to 1-star, 1-star leading to every single rank all the way through. Now, I just want to finish off with the 50% rule. Obviously, you can be lucky and be above somebody who goes berserk, but if you have one team, it doesn't mean you are going to rank advance. You need at least two or three or more, or ideally six wide, because width equals profit and depth equals security. So width equals profit, depth equals security. So the 50% rule needs to be considered. So for example, if you were a senior member, you saw we said you needed 1,500 points to be a senior member. If leg one was 3,000, you can't count any more than half of the rank. So that means leg one, it's lovely that it's 3,000, but you can only count half of that, which is 750. In order to be a legitimate senior member, you would need 750 split across the rest of your business. And this example is. Okay, so then in order to be a higher rank, if you wanted to go to 1 star, which is 5,000 PV, that means no more than 2,500 of that can count from the first leg, and the rest needs to be balanced on the other legs as well. This is why we have taught from day one, get started with 3 legs, sure, but anyone who's got a little bit more confidence, go to 4, 5, 6, and I even got taught to build to 7 to have an insurance policy, because width will give you a very solid, reliable business with a higher income than if you only build 3 wide. So I hope this has been helpful. A bit of a roadmap on how to use the comp plan and how it all fits together. And I look forward to seeing you on the next event. Get back to the person who sent you to this for more information. All the best.